Okay, I am live from Chicago right now, and I'm excited because I've got a very special guest that's going to be joining me in just a second because she's got some scoop on Tom Sandoval and the Most Extras. You know, I came to Chicago for BlockCon, and I was going to go to the show, the Tom Sandoval and the Most Extra show in St. Charles, and now I can't wait to get into all the tea with her. So let's dive in, shall we? Oh, hi, it's me, Zack Peter, pop culture junkie, reality TV insider, published author, and host of the No Filter with Zack Peter podcast. Here I'll bring you all the latest news on the Real Housewives, deep dives into celebrity legal scandals, and unfiltered convos with your favorite stars. I've got you covered. And yes, I always keep receipts. So be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for all the latest tea. Now, let's dive in. All right, here we go, guys. Please welcome Christina, aka the Bravo Babe, here to reveal some scoop on the Tom Sandoval of it all. Christina, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How's your day in Chicago been?
I'm wild. It's been an eventful trip to Chicago. I just wrapped up BlockCon with New Kids on the Block. I was moderating their event, and now I have another event that I'm doing this weekend. So I'm still in Chicago. But I'm so sad because the one night that I really didn't have free was the one night that I was wanting to go
Right.
with you to the Tom Sandoval on the Most Extra show.
Mhm.
But you were able
I
to go.
I enjoyed it, and I thought about people that could come with me, my friends that could come, but I said, you know what? Let me just do this the Bravo Babe way and go all in on the interviews, all in on being kind of neutral. Obviously, not a Tom Sandoval fan, but I wanted to get opinions, so I had to stay neutral.
So, okay, so walk me through it. So you're in St. Charles, Arcada Theater, iconic place, holds up to 1,000 different people.
Mhm.
Were people excited to go to the show? Pre-show, when you were chatting and interviewing people outside, were people pumped? Were they excited? Did they have picket signs?
So nobody had signs. And to be honest, I think that at one point they might have just opened the doors because nobody ever scanned my ticket.
Oh,
So
well,
I
they
was
were
like,
probably
well,
hoping that anybody could walk in.
so there was that. But I walked in and I talked to actually one of the ushers that worked there. And she told me everybody who ushers and everybody who works backstage for the theater itself, they do it for free. They volunteer.
Oh,
So
wow.
she's like, we get to see cool bands. And I signed up for this one because she had heard about the scandal. She told me that the seats that were all lined up in the front, there was 20 rows. They could be moved and it could be a straight dance floor, but the band decided they did not want that. They wanted the chairs there. So I'm wondering if they thought maybe people wouldn't be as into the music as they hoped and dancing. So they chose to have the chairs there. Um, I grabbed a cocktail. I think I got a Blue Moon and it was like $12, which is like normal Chicago pricing for people that are watching and wondering that's normal for Chicago. And the vibe was nice before the show. Everybody seemed like they were anticipating Tom to come on. Half the people didn't even know there was an opener. Um,
Oh, there was
which
an opener.
there was an opener. It was a nice gentleman. I took a picture of his name and he played the violin and the flute. It was an interesting opening act, but he was great. So shout out to him.
Okay.
Um, Tom Sandoval came on around 8:30
Okay.
and he opened with Everybody's Working for the Weekend. And I think that's how he's opened most of his shows is with that song. The people around me were kind of hesitant to stand up at first. It was kind of like we're sitting, we're looking around. Is anybody else standing up kind of vibe? And there was a mother and daughter next to me who were absolutely fantastic. They actually are the ones who, when I said, you know, do you listen to any Bravo podcasts? The first one she pulled up was yours.
Aw.
And so that was so sweet. So they were there, mother and daughter, just, you know, as spectators, as I feel most people were.
Okay.
The third song that he played was what everybody had wanted to hear, the Stacy's Mom, but he changes it to Schwartzy's Mom. And I can confirm he most definitely says Raquel is hot, HOT for me.
Oh, so he's playing it up.
He's definitely playing it up. Not only that, I know that after he sang I Write Sins, Not Tragedies, he made a little comment. He said, I sang that song once and my phone fell out of my pocket afterwards.
So he's making okay, well at least he has a sense of humor about it. I mean, were there fans in the audience that were heckling him at all or yelling Team Ariana? Was there any of like that discourse?
Definitely a lot of Team Ariana. I didn't hear anybody say Raquel's name. I did hear somebody yell, I want to marry Andy Cohen, which was
Okay.
the most random yell at a Tom Sandoval, the most extra show. There was a front row of major fangirls, major. So
Real.
I feel like they drowned out any Team Ariana that I heard.
No booze when Raquel's name was mentioned?
No, it was kind of like everybody was hype about it. It was
Okay.
interesting, and I would say the median age was around 35. Like
Okay.
there was a lot of couples there. A lot of the guys didn't seem like they wanted to be there, so they were in like a crappy mood. You know, they weren't very friendly to talk to. They were just there to support their wives and probably be their DD.
Okay. Was the room full or was it empty-ish?
No, it was full, and there was also a balcony that was full.
See, that's what I was worried about. Okay, so before I came to Chicago to do BlockCon with New Kids on the Block, I was originally planning to do a no filter night out at the Arcada Theater with Donnie Wahlberg, which is how BlockCon came to be. Because it was like, no, we're doing BlockCon, let's do this instead, and then you'll get all the guys. So I know the Arcada Theater well because back when I used to do fundraising, I worked on a couple of concerts with Donnie, and he did it at the Arcada Theater, and it holds up to 1,000 people, which is a decent, a decent crowd. But I was worried. I know for me, I was like, can we not do the balcony and we'll only sell the floor tickets? Because I don't know if I'm going to be able to sell that many
Right,
tickets. So I was shocked that Tom Sandoval was performing because when I saw him, I think I've only seen him and his band one time, maybe twice, but I think it was only once. And it was in LA.
mm-hmm.
And that venue was maybe about 100 people, maybe 150. So it was a much smaller venue. Um, and he filled it out, but it was, I didn't know if he was going to be able to sell out a place that seats 1,000 people,
Right.
or if 1,000 people are going to show up to see him perform.
Right. I will say a good judge of that is how the bathroom line is, and the bathroom line was consistently long.
There you go. It was a full house. So when he says he's selling out these shows, he's not lying. People are coming to see him.
People are coming to see him, and he has a good amount of fans, if you want to call it that. After the show, I interviewed a couple people who were definitely not Team Ariana, which was surprising to me. But there was one girl who said, she was only on season 7 of Vanderpump Rules. And she was just going based off what she has seen. And she said, no, I'm definitely not Team Ariana. And then her friend who was there that was all caught up said that she had to agree. And she said yes. And she said that Ariana is profiting off of this and she's kept saying, follow the money. Ariana's profiting. She's profiting. But that's just the way of the world.
I
That's
mean,
what
come
I
on. I
mean.
can profit from a breakup. I'm going to profit too.
Hell
You
yeah.
broke my
So,
heart. Get me some money.
right. So it was a mixed review after the show of interviews. I cannot say that the band itself was bad because they were good. They played their instruments well. There was a blonde backup singer, and they told me her name, but I completely forget it now. She sang 2 solo songs, and she did great. So the only person who really needs some help is Tom.
Yeah, I mean, the Most Extras is a good band. And they play some good hits. Tom doesn't have the best singing voice. It's very wedding band, right? It's the band
Mhm.
you hire to do cover songs, and it's really not that, the
Right.
production value isn't amazing, but I think his band is not half bad. I've seen them before. I was just very I mean, do you think that the scandal has actually helped him more than it's hurt him because he really is selling out these venues?
Most definitely. I think that, like you said, he almost struggled selling a smaller venue out by you, and now he's selling out almost three Northwest Chicago shows. I feel like it helped him. It did. It gave him a little boost. People that are going, even if they want to heckle or not, they're going because they're curious at the end of the day. They want to know, they want to see. It's just genuine curiosity.
I mean, and it's stroking his ego and it's paying his bills because he's still making money off of these shows.
And I didn't see merch the night that I went, but the night in Des Plaines, I heard that they had been selling the Tom Tom sweatshirts for
Mhm.
$75. I probably would have grabbed one just to say I had one if they were selling them the night that I was there.
And then you could have worn it like a dress like Raquel did.
I mean, probably not, but I would hold on to it.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Okay, so it sounds like it was you actually had a good time, you enjoyed the band?
I really did. It's not like I wanted to sit down and judge. I stood up, I listened to the music. The band itself was enjoyable. I can't say that it was, you want to sit down and put your head in your knees at all. Everybody around me was moving around, singing some of the songs, and then the front row was just completely grabby. There was a point where he sang Sex on Fire by Kings of Leon, and he was like knees down, laying on the floor, all sexual, and you can just see all the girls like trying to grab at him. So that's
Oh my god.
extreme. Oh my gosh. He came towards the crowd. And the ushers were strict about not being in the aisle, but I was like, oh, let me get close too. Why not? So I snuck my way down there and I like turned around and he was behind me singing. And obviously I'm not going to touch the man, but people actually were. That was a lot.
He has to be loving this. Like, this is stroking his ego right now. The
Yes.
fact that these women are just throwing themselves at him. I mean, and if you do see the photos, he is very like
Chiseled.
lean and chiseled. Like, yeah, he says he stopped drinking. I don't know if he was drinking that night. I know he was always chugging the Coors Lights when he was on stage. But I mean, he's very chiseled, he's very lean. You can tell he's very muscular. So he's working out.
He is. And I mean, he's not terrible to look at.
No, he looks hot. I mean, I hate the nail polish. We can get rid of the white nail polish, but at this point, I'm like, okay, get it,
He
Tom.
really did ruin white nail polish for me. Glamour magazine was spot on.
Yeah,
He ruined it for me.
he's gonna come for you now for saying that.
I hope he does. I'm ready. My
Oh,
neon yellow jacket at the show with my little microphone. I'm like, I'm bound to get kicked out of here.
yeah. So, were you actually getting clips, or were you live streaming it all?
So I live streamed during the show, and then after the show, I pulled out my microphone and literally sat by the door as people were exiting. And if they looked approachable or they looked like they had Team Ariana or some of them had Tom Sandoval, I would say, "Hey, can I ask you some questions?" And then one of the groups of girls bought me a drink after, and we went and talked all things Bravo at the bar across the street.
Nice. What was the overall consensus? Were people surprised that they enjoyed the show?
I think they were surprised they enjoyed it because whenever we would talk negative, it would be about Scandoval.
Uh-oh, did I lose you?
Oh,
There we go.
we're back. I think that we were all pleasantly surprised with the enjoyment of the show itself, taking Scandoval out of it. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like it was a blast. I'm bummed that I couldn't make it because I needed to be in the room to scout it out. But luckily
Feel
we
the energy of it.
yes. But luckily we had the Bravo babe, boots on the ground at the Arcada Theater for Tom Sandoval and the Most Extras. Any other juicy scoop that you got from the show?
So the girls behind me did take a picture and meet Tom. They showed me the
Oh,
picture and I said, "Oh, did you have a conversation with them?" And they said, "We told him that we are team Ariana." And he said, "I know, me too."
come on.
Right? Like, what a PR answer.
Well, and there was the photo that just came out. Remember on the plane where you can see he's talking to Raquel? What are your thoughts?
I think that I don't think it was staged. I think he had an earbud in. I think he was just turned to the window talking on the phone, and the photographer that got the photo really did just get a lucky shot. I think that he was speaking to her. I don't think it was staged. What do you think?
I don't think it was staged because, like, I don't know. You're not going to think that people are going to take photos of you and catch your phone screen talking to Raquel. Like, if you're just on the phone talking to somebody, like, I don't think he was that aware of it. And you can also see, like, his face was turned away. He clearly had
Right,
his ear pods in. You can see the screen said that it was connected to his ear pods. So it's not like he was talking on speakerphone.
right.
So, yeah, no.
Did you see what Jackson Brittany said on their podcast today with Brock and Sheena?
What did they say?
Oh my goodness. So, on Watch What Happens Live, Ariana had said Raquel sent a letter to the house. It was addressed to Tom Sandoval, so she couldn't open it, wouldn't open it, obviously. Well, Brock revealed that Raquel decided to send postcards. So now she is sending postcards from Sedona with lightning bolts on them.
What?
And I thought it sounded so far fetched, but it came from Brock and Sheena.
I mean, I am not surprised at this point. Like, nothing at this point surprises me. She has to be out of the mental facility though now, right? If she's talking on the phone with Tom.
I would think so. So Sedona postcard, maybe she's still out west. I'm not sure.
Did she go back to Miraval?
She might have. If he ever went.
If she ever went, right? I mean, yeah, I can't keep up with her. And I don't understand. Like, she really doesn't seem to have any sort of self-awareness, or I mean, the remorse is the creepy part, is that she has none, but like, I don't
Now the postcard thing, that threw me for a loop. Especially he said that there was a lightning bolt on it, like whether it was the postcard itself that had the lightning bolt or that she drew it on there. Either way, can't read the room, no self-awareness.
And clearly the mental facility is not doing anything for her.
No, they're not doing their jobs because we've seen no change. It's been worse.
Well, also, like, if you're at a, like, legitimate mental facility and you have a therapist, then, like, they're gonna tell you, "Okay, maybe right now you take a break from the show, you take a break from this guy, like, focus on yourself." And
Right.
like, when you're in AA, they tell you not to date or sleep with any of the other people in AA because you're focused on yourself. And, I think Tom and Raquel have some sort of, like, weird, twisted, trauma bonded sort of relationship that's
Mhm.
not healthy. Um and so the fact that she still has communication with him and she's talking on the phone with him and sending him postcards and drawing lightning bolts shows that there's been no evolution for her.
None whatsoever. And I'm wondering if they're planning how to try to save face for after the rest of the reunion.
I I don't even know at this point. I don't even I cannot figure them out because we thought that they broke up and then we thought he had a new girlfriend and then it wasn't the girlfriend and then now we find out that they're still talking, so I don't know. Michelle says I'm doubting a mental facility sells postcards. I agree. Jenny says Michelle is, or sorry, Ratchet is full of it. Kiki says, of course, Rachel is sending postcards. She's afraid Tom will cheat with Ariana while in the house. I don't think they're still in the same house. Oh, well, I guess they are still in the same house, right?
I think they are, but I don't think there's any possibility of them.
No.
No. Shot in the dark.
Um, Latanya says, right, Kiki. Yes, it's so her, no remorse and calculated. Oh, because Kiki said, it's so Rachel postcards so that Ariana can see it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, she has to know that Ariana's still living there. Even if she talks
Oh,
to,
I think that it's 100% premeditated. I
oh,
think
you think it's
oh my gosh,
deliberate.
yes, I think she's setting the postcards so Ariana sees them. I think she is doing it
Oh,
so
like she's
shady.
not just trying to be cute. You think she's trying to shove it in her face.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
I didn't even think of that. I
that's where
just
my
thought she
mind
was
went for
so
sure.
I just thought she was so, like, elementary that she's just like, "I'm gonna write a postcard because I'm supposed to be in a mental facility," and, like, I didn't even think of how twisted that is, but, I mean, clearly, she
Yes.
shouldn't be sending postcards anymore if she can now talk to him on the phone.
Right. I think Brock said on the podcast with Jackson Brittany, he was like, she did this so Ariana could read it. She wanted everybody to see what she was saying.
Gross.
Ugh.
Beautiful Waterfall says, how much eye rolling, laughing, and smirking are we going to see Rachel do at reunion part 2?
Ugh. Does she come in on part 2 or 3?
She comes in part 2. I think we'll get a little bit of her one-on-one interview in part 2, and then I'm pretty sure the end of part 2 is when she walks out. And then it's going to be a to be continued, so that we watch part 3 for all of her.
Right.
But I
Right.
mean, does the show really need Raquel moving forward now? If we only had her in one part of the 3 parts, and
Right.
she has no connection to any of the other cast members, like, I feel like it may be time to send Rachel off.
I agree. I mean, we have, like you said, 2 full episodes just about of content without her. You know, there was other issues going on this season without Raquel.
Yeah, everyone keeps saying, like, Raquel is the one that, like, saved Vanderpump
Save the
Rules.
show. I don't believe that.
I don't think so either, because I'm like, if it wasn't for Tom and Ariana's relationship that we were so emotionally invested in, and if it wasn't for Tom Sandoval having this moral superiority, we wouldn't care about this affair as much as we
Mhm.
do. And it's the fact that
Exactly.
Tom and Ariana were together forever. There's also the link back to Kristen and Jax back in season 2. So it's like there are so many pieces that are more attached to Tom and Ariana that don't include Raquel. Like, Raquel is literally just, his new side piece that happened to be friends with Ariana. Like, she does have a big piece of this, yes, but I think if anything, Tom saved the show by cheating on Ariana.
Do you think, let me ask you this, do you think that Jax and Brittany will make a return next season?
Yeah, for sure.
I was thinking, what would the opening scene of season 11 look like? And I pictured Tom Schwartz and Jax together just going in on Sandoval. And I feel like that would be full circle and just like the icing on the cake for a nice start to season 11.
See, I actually think it's smart for them to bring Jax back because, well, one, I think he's coming back regardless. I think he wants to do it. I think they know that it's smart to do right now. They're probably going to bring Dodie back because she had such big ratings when she did Watch What Happens Live that, like,
He did.
it's inevitable. I've always thought that this next season, season 11, should be the final season.
Okay.
And it should be a short season. Like, we already had this bit, like, ended on a high, because what they're going to
Mhm.
do is they're going to try to milk it for another 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons. And by that point, it's just going to continue to dwindle,
Fizzled
like
out.
so many of these other housewife shows that we've seen on the air for so long. And Vanderpump was already reaching its end. That I think the scandal was good. It was big. Everybody made a shit ton of money off of it. And now it's like,
Mhm.
okay, everybody's ready to wrap up their storylines, right? Send
Mhm.
Sheena and Brock off to San Diego. James can propose to Allie.
And
Ariana's
be a
gonna live.
DJ and
Yeah.
right.
Ariana and Katie are gonna open up something about her. That'll be a nice high note to end their storyline off of. Like, end it on a high when ratings are still gonna be so good,
Mhm.
rather than continue to try to milk it for as long as they can and watch it circle the drain, because it was already starting to circle the drain before the scandal.
Right. I like that. I think that's a good idea. I do.
Yeah, and then bring Kristen and Jax back in to kind of bring that nostalgia and just kind of wrap up everybody's storylines of, like, okay, now we're all ready to move on from our old jobs at SUR. We
Right.
have families now. We're settled now. We're ready to move on. But I don't think we need Raquel. I think Jax confronting Sandoval. I mean, even if we do have Raquel, it'll probably be just like a nice way to tie up Tom and Raquel sailing off into the sunset because they decided to be with each other. Whatever.
Right. Whatever.
Um, but Jax, I think, is the only way we can, or Kristen. I think those are the only way we can bring back Sandoval, because nobody else is talking to him and nobody else wants to talk to him. But
Mhm.
Jax and Kristen will film with him and they'll lay into him and
Yeah.
they will give us those moments that the rest of the cast is done with.
I really hope that is how season 11 would start. Hopefully, production, producers, whoever you are, listen to this. That's how we want season 11 to start.
I think that would actually be smart.
I think it would be. And have a nice short season. End it with, yeah, end it on a high.
I mean, they're making a lot of these shows shorter seasons anyway, that I think it's working a lot better than before, when we would have these like 24 episode seasons and it would just drag
Mhm.
on too long. Now I think they're getting a lot smarter about that, which is good.
Like New Jersey, I'm so glad that season was not dragged on any longer.
Yeah, it was dragged on long enough, especially because we didn't even get the cheating rumor bombshell until the end. And then it was the final episode, and then we didn't even get to go anywhere with it.
Right. It was like the buildup, and then that was it.
And that was it. Yeah. Oh, okay, Christina, where can people go and follow you and support the podcast and get all the tea from you?
So my podcast is Gossip with Bravo Babe. Definitely check it out. I will have allegedly Bravo on with me this week. And then next week I will have Botox and Bravo and Botox. It's
Love
one of
it.
the ways. Love it. So just follow me at the Bravo Babe. I just started TikTok. I'm very new at it, but it's fun. Yeah, everything's at the Bravo Babe.
Awesome. Love it. Guys, go support, follow, subscribe. Go give some love to the Bravo Babe. She's got the tea. She's always spilling it on Twitter. So you're going to need to follow her on Twitter.
A
She's got
little unhinged on Twitter, but it's fun.
you can be unhinged is on Twitter.
Yes. Well,
Um,
while you're in Chicago, I hope that we can meet up. This was
yes.
fun.
Yes. I'm here all week. So I'm stuck in Chicago for the week. And then I finally get to go back to home to LA next week.
And your dog.
I know, I miss him so much. Oh, but all right, guys. Thank you for joining us in today's live stream. Hi, Leslie. I'm excited to see you in July in New York City as well. I'm doing a live show July 26th at City Winery in NYC. You can get your tickets at nofilterlive.com. I'm also doing a show in LA on June 15th with Lala Kent and some very surprise special guests that'll be there as well. So go and get your tickets to both shows, June 15th at the Bourbon Room in Hollywood and July 26th at City Winery in New York City. Go to nofilterlive.com. That's nofilterlive.com. Christina, the Bravo Babe, thank you again. I appreciate the tea. I appreciate you being boots on the ground. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us today and stay tuned. There's a lot more tea to come. You can always follow me at Just Plain Zack, follow the podcast at No Filter with Zack, and be sure to subscribe and catch new episodes of the podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm getting back on our regular schedule. I apologize. I was doing BlockCon all weekend, so keeping up with content was a little bit of a challenge, but don't worry. More tea to be spilled very soon. So go subscribe to the podcast, catch the live streams on YouTube, and I will talk to you soon. Ciao for now.